So I'm back here with another interview, and this time I'm interviewing UFC fighter Tom Nolan coming off the back of a first round KO over Victor Martinez. So thank you to the Big Train for joining me.
Cheers, brother. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about that fight. So obviously, it was pretty much a flawless performance. Besides, you did get caught, in that fight. But like, how
Yeah.
badly were you actually hurt? Was it more of, were you badly rocked, or was it more just like a off balance, like sort of thing? Like, just, yeah, talk me through.
Yeah, so I definitely wasn't badly hurt. He caught me by surprise, right? So if you watch the whole fight, he everything he throws is in a combination of two. He was going 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. That was the beat he was throwing for the whole fight. Um, as he threw the combination, he threw a 1-2. I sort of tracked his head to land my left, and as I tracked him, he just short hook over the side, just caught me. Um, I had thrown the spinning wheel kick, and as I landed, he sort of pressed forward on me. So I was on my heels, I was moving backwards, and as he caught me, I just went to step back at the same time, and my foot just, yeah, obviously snapped my head. I just lost my footing for a split second there. So, no, I definitely wasn't hurt. You can see it in the footage. I immediately put my eyes straight back on him, and as he closed in, I decided to pull guard just because it was a safer option.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I thought it might have been more of an off balance thing because obviously you can see like you're still there. It didn't look like a flash knockdown or anything like that. Like
Nah,
you're
definitely
still
not.
there.
Yeah, I was definitely conscious and aware. I just thought, he hits hard. He definitely hit hard. So I didn't want to just stand straight back up into the pocket and give him an opportunity. Like the whole fight, I maintained the distance really well. So obviously, in that situation, pulling guard and allowing him down was the safer option than to just stand up right in front of his face there and let him tee off on me.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you seen any of the people who turned on you during the modify? Have any of them come back since you got that KO?
I don't look, man. I don't read any of this stuff. I don't care. Like that's a
Yeah.
part of the job, right? If you get to the UFC and you can't handle people, 14-year-old kids hiding under the blankets talking online, then you probably shouldn't be there because that's what it is. Like anyone
Yeah.
who's there talking crap to a UFC fighter probably hasn't got a whole bunch going on in their life. They've probably got a pretty sad life. So, I actually feel sorry for them. I'm not stressed at all. I've got a great life. So,
Yeah, absolutely. You're living the dream. But have you seen like any of the narrative about like people now saying like, you've got no chin? Obviously, people didn't watch your previous fights, like in the regional scene where you've eaten fucking big shots after big shots like plenty of time. But have you seen like that narrative now that people are trying to put out there?
yeah, I saw a couple comments that said that. But I mean, oh, man, like I said, like in this game, there's always going to be something. I could have gone out there and knocked him out in 10 seconds and someone's going to say something. I've seen a
Yeah.
narrative about me cutting too much weight. And it's like, man, if only these people knew, man, I can make featherweight 100%. I can make featherweight very, very easily. I choose not to because I think it would be not healthy for me. I think it'd be bad for my hormones and bad for my body. But man, during fight week, I'm much lower than what these featherweights are. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I always see that narrative pushed around about you, like, oh, weight bully this, weight bully that. But like, yeah, like you said, you fought at featherweight for most of your amateur career, uh, and yeah, you're not particularly that great. Like, do you want to talk, like, say what your walk around weight is, just for the people, or do you not want to mention that?
Yeah, man, I'll start a camp at about 77 kilos.
Yeah,
And then that's starting camp. So I'll get down to, man, I go into fight week on weight essentially. I don't sauna to make weight. I don't bath to make weight. I wake up on weight every time. My whole pro career, I've not had to sweat to make weight.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, you see all these people, like, obviously, you're just tall, like that's.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
what it
like
is.
you're not like Michael Chandler, where you're like, you're fucking just a shit ton of muscle or anything like that. You're not Islam Makhachev, who's fucking, back is just like fucking muscly as fuck. You're not nothing like that.
Yeah,
You're just tall.
tall guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
like, yeah, it's a weird narrative. Like, I feel like fight fans, they just see someone taller in their weight class and they just assume, oh, he must have a hard time making weight.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not stressed about it, man. Like I went out there, I had a great performance. I won. I'm going to do it again soon. I'm going to do it again at the end of the year. I'm just going to keep winning, keep proving people wrong, keep proving people right. Like you can never do anything perfect in this game, and you have to be okay with that. If I sit here and whinge about it, like, what am I doing? I can't just sook about it.
Yeah, exactly. And how was, I think you were working with, I think it was a mentalist or something. He was an author. I think he's a Kiwi guy.
Yep,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head,
Big
but
Dave.
yeah, Big Dave. That's it.
Yep.
How was working with Big Dave, and like how did that help you in your fight against Victor Martinez?
Yeah, man, he is unreal. It's one of the best things I've ever done for my career. You know, like, I've always been switched on mentally, and I've always gone into fights. I'd say my mindset's one of my bigger weapons, but he's just amplified it for me now. He's just really proven everything I thought about myself correct. You know, so man, going into that fight, I was in a flow state. I felt amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You could see it like that was the big train we've seen on like the regional scene. Like that's
Yeah,
what I kept trying to tell everyone about the modified. That is not you most times. Like, I feel like that, and sorry to keep talking about the modified, but I feel like that was like uh maybe you got a little, maybe you didn't respect Motter enough in that fight, I feel like, because
yeah, that's what it was, man. I combination of not respecting him enough, and in the cage, man, when I looked at him over on the other side of the cage, he was honestly very, very nervous and terrified to be there by the looks of it. Like, I don't know if that's just how his body language is, but I just thought, oh, okay, this guy's he's gonna want to get out of here pretty quickly. And I just got too confident from it. Like, I didn't treat it as a threat. I didn't see it as, this guy's nervous. He's going to sit back and he's going to throw with everything. I saw it as, oh, this guy's super nervous. I should be able to just take over pretty quickly. So, man, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, like, I haven't lost since I was an amateur. I never, ever, ever get hurt in the gym. I've never been knocked out. I've literally been dropped twice ever, and both of them have been in the UFC. That's it. Like,
yeah,
I don't get dropped in the gym. Like, I'm solid for that, you know. So going in there was that, a little bit of that invincibility. Like, I'm a young guy. I'm undefeated. A lot of hype going in, you know, and it just taught me, like, nah, man, you're in the UFC now. Like, everyone's got those skills. And Motor
yeah.
hits hard. Obviously I knew that going into the fight. I knew, like, if you go watch any of the interviews, I said if he hits me, I'm going to know about it. Like, if he lands a good shot, it's going to be like getting hit by a truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that like a fight you'd want to get back one day?
100%, man. I think I win that 9 times out of 10. Like, respectfully, like,
Yeah,
I don't want to take anything away from him. He definitely, like, he fair and square beat me, man, and he's a G. Like, he's awesome. But
yeah,
I think we fight again, I win that for sure. And I would, down the line, after a few, like, he hasn't fought since, so
yeah.
you know, I'll get a few more wins in here. Hopefully he can get a couple more wins in, and I would definitely like to get that one back.
Yeah, definitely. I did notice there was a weird narrative about that fight before it happened that you were like talking trash. It was a weird one though. Like
Yeah,
people,
and
yeah, I didn't understand that. All you said was you were gonna win. Like you said you were
yeah,
gonna knock him out. What were you meant
no,
to say?
I'll tell you what happened, and I haven't
Yeah,
actually spoken about this yet, but what happened was, I did an interview after my fight with Bogdan on Contender Series, right?
yeah,
And in that interview, all I stated was, when I step into the cage, like, I'm in there to hurt people bad. Like, I'm in there to take years off of people, right? And they're there to do the same to me. Like, I expect that. That's the way it should be. Like, man, you're going in there. If I had a loss on the weekend, who knows? Maybe I lost my job. Like, that dude's trying to take my
yeah,
life away from me, essentially. So I'm the same way back. But I was talking about my previous opponent. I didn't even know who Motor was yet. This was months before I even got a contract. I didn't know, like, I never knew who he was until I got the fight offered to me.
yeah,
And then on the media conference, someone mentioned it to Motor and said, like, oh yeah, like, Nolan said he wanted to, like, take years off you and do this and that. And Motor didn't know. So he was like, oh, well, you know, that's a pretty fucked up thing to say.
yeah,
But it wasn't. And I actually messaged him and said, hey, bro, just want to let you know, like, I wasn't talking about you. I was just generalizing, but I was actually more aimed at my previous opponent. But even then, it wasn't specifically aimed at him. It just got brought up because he was shit talking me, and I just described my mindset going into these fights. Nothing personal though. I'm not like coming after anyone, you know. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, me and him spoke about it. He was cool with it. He said, "Oh, cool, man. Like, I didn't know that, so thanks for letting me know." But it's just the media, bro. They just twist everything, and they wanna, you know, they wanna make a narrative out of everything. The last post before that they put up about me was, "Oh, Tom Nolan, the best thing to come off the Contender Series this year. You know, the future's this and that." And then the next post they put up, Tom Nolan was trash talking. I was like, I never trash
yeah.
talked once. I was just very confident. and I lost. It's a fight. Like shit
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I seen that and I was like, what the fuck? Like even in that same interview, you talked about how you didn't want to trash talk. Like in the
Yes.
Dana White Contender Series one, is like fucking like they don't listen like to
Yeah.
anything the fighters actually say.
Yeah. 100% agree, bro. But I was gonna go. I was planning on talking at the last conference I did and talking about that, but then none of the media group who actually said that were there. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna just come after these guys. Like they didn't say anything wrong. So I've decided to just let it go. Like it is what it is. There's probably gonna be plenty more of that in my career, right? Like we're in the UFC. People talk shit all the time. People write these fake stories. So I'm just got my head down, bro. I'm trying not to buy into any of it. To be honest, I'm in the
Yeah.
gym working hard. I'm appreciative of the life I live, and people can say what they want. People are gonna say what they want. That's a part of it, man. When you're on the way to the top, there's gonna be critics.
Yeah, definitely. And you haven't even dealt with the whole Halwani shit, fucking shit
Yeah,
talking or instigating anything yet. So that should be good a few years down the line as well.
yeah,
Yeah. Obviously, you came through Dana White Contender Series. You're an Australian lightweight. Well, now another Australian lightweight's, been added to Dana White Contender Series. So I just want to get your thoughts on Quillan Salkield,
yeah, man.
breaking through.
He's an awesome fighter, super deserving. I thought for sure he was gonna get the call up after that last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he does well, man. Like he said about me before, it only looks good the more Aussies winning, the better. Like essentially, once you're in the UFC together, it's almost like your teammates. Like all the Aussies are now, we're all like, rooting for each other to go forward. So yeah, I hope he does well. I really hope he has a successful career in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's more Aussies, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's always good when the Anzacs do good. Uh,
Yeah,
and you've got some teammates as well, some really good teammates. I just wanted to get your thoughts on because Stuart Nickel, he does train with you, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to he's definitely. You reckon he gets Dana White Contender Series this year,
In
or
my
maybe
opinion,
even
he does definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he 100% will. He's 100% deserving of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's a real good chance he will, man, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, yeah, he's pretty much undeniable. But so are all the flyweights. It feels like they're all undefeated. Well, not undefeated, but he is undefeated. But
Yeah.
they've just gone on runs. But I don't know. It seems like the UFC is just not giving them all the opportunities for some reason.
Yeah, right now in Australia, especially the flyweight division is pretty hot. There's a lot of guys to go through, but I think he's definitely the most deserving. I think it's a close race at the moment, but yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, he's undefeated. He's 8-0, isn't he? With 7 finishes, I think. Like it's
yeah,
at flyweight, man. That's huge. The finishes
yeah.
aren't as frequent at flyweight.
Yeah, and he is a machine as well. Like they brought in 6-0 Japanese guy. They brought in 5-1 or something guy from
Yeah,
Guam. Like they bring in all these guys in, and he's just smoking them in the
yeah,
first round.
yeah. Very easy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously you guys are different weight classes, but do you get any rounds in with him?
Yeah. I train with him, man. He's a little savage. He doesn't care about.
Yeah.
He'll spar at the heavyweight. He doesn't care, and he'll come
Yeah.
after him too. He is an absolute savage.
Yeah. And then obviously, your teammate Don Marfan, he's also a really good fighter.
Yep.
He's fighting Tim Schwartz. Is that his name?
Rogers, I think.
Rogers, no, Tim Rogers. Sorry, no, he's fighting Tim Rogers. Sorry, I
Yeah.
was thinking about the guy who's almost lost his foot. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tim Schultz.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So he'll probably be in the UFC next year. Probably gets a few wins under his belt.
Yeah. I agree, man. I think this is a good fight for him. I think he's going to do really well, and obviously Quillan going through to the I assume he's going to win his contenders fight and go through. That means that title's going to be up for grabs. So there's going to be some boys who are going to be all fighting each other, trying to get that spot. And I think the timing of it will work out well. He gets this win, gets back on track, maybe has another one, or maybe the next one is for the title, and then a couple defenses, and then he's in.
Yeah, definitely. And after your fight, you said that you weren't in any position to call anyone out. But let's say you get your next fight done, which I imagine you'll probably get a fight for 305. If you win that fight, are you going to start doing some call outs, respectful call outs, or just whoever the UFC gives you?
Yeah, again, There are a few fights that I would like to have, but like whatever the UFC give me, like I just want to get in there and scrap. I want to be really active this year. I want to get at least 2 more in this year. I want to finish the year at 3-1. Just puts me in a good position going into the next year. I reckon I'll have a real good chance at fighting for a top 15 spot next year if I can pull that off. But yeah, there are a few fights I'd like. Maybe after this next one, I'll make a call out.
Yeah, do you want to just say what those fights are? Obviously, no call outs now, but like, who are some of the fights you do want to, some fights you'd like?
I really, really want to fight Chase Hooper. That's my
Yeah.
number one. That's the fight I really want for sure. Just because he got in the UFC so young and had all this hype around him, and I don't know. I remember I think we're the same age or like a year apart. I remember being an amateur and thinking, I'm pretty sure I could beat that guy, So I feel like I owe it to my younger self now that I am here to go out there and prove to myself, like, yeah, I can definitely beat that guy and smoke that guy.
Did you catch his fight against Borishev?
Oh, man, he looked incredible. I was at the airport having coffee about to fly out and watched it, and I couldn't believe. Obviously, I knew if he was going to win that fight, it was going to be on the mat, but I cannot believe that he dropped him and looked so good on the feet, man. So confident too. Like, man, he's had some pretty brutal losses. Like, he's been caught bad on the feet before. You'd think that rock his confidence a little bit, but he went out there guns blazing, man, put it on a world champion kickboxer.
Yeah.
And looked incredible. So that actually got me even more excited for the fight, though, because then it's like, well, if me and him can fight and he's looking real good, that's going to open up that could be a big fight on a big card somewhere down the line. And, we could really entertain the people.
Yeah, no, that would be sick. Yeah, I literally, it shook. It was like a fucking jump scare when he dropped Borshev because I was not expecting like him to have any success on the feet. I picked him to win, but
man.
I thought he was gonna like smother him a little bit. But when he dropped him, I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" Like I thought I was dreaming. Like,
yeah, man, he set it up nicely. He faked at the legs, and obviously Borshev had a lot of respect for his grappling and cracked him. The only thing I thought was a little bit strange was his ground and pound seems to not have much in it. It seems to be pretty. I don't know. Old mate he landed a lot of shots and he wasn't cut. He wasn't bruised. He was moving to. It wasn't like he was being stopped. Like his head wasn't bouncing. I don't know if that's a technique issue or maybe because he's built like me. He's quite long and framey. But I feel like when I hit people on the mat, they seem to just their lights get turned off. Like the head bounces off the canvas. It seems to be the better spot to land shots for me. But yeah, I don't know. He seemed to not have that there.
I will say Borshev did have like a massive hematoma on his head afterwards. It was like
but how many shots later? 2 rounds of getting absolutely bashed, and he had one little egg. Like I thought his face was going to look much worse when he stood up. I thought he was going to be black and blue.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah, I think he landed like 188 significant strikes.
Yeah,
or something
like that's mental. Like he should have looked different. You know what I mean? Especially like when you're on top of someone. It's different when someone's standing and they've got their feet under him. He's on his back with his head against the surface and you're dropping elbows onto his skull and he just looked normal. Like, I don't know. It's just seemed like there wasn't much in it.
Yeah. I think I definitely don't think he's got like the Habib fucking ground and pound or anything yet, like, yeah, he's got good jiu-jitsu and everything, but
yeah, very slick.
Yeah. I think he's, developing his game a little bit. I know he's been training at like Wonderboy's gym. So I think a lot of his striking is like karate based.
I thought that, which makes sense for his frame, I suppose, like the long, but maybe not for his style, because if he wants to take people down, like again, he's got good jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling's not at the level his jiu-jitsu's at. So it's like you're a long guy and you want to get people down, you're going to have to learn to box tight and use your footwork to get in,
Yeah, definitely. And something a lot of people don't know about you is you were actually originally a grappler. Like you didn't start off with striking. Like if you watch your amateur fights, I think, when did you actually properly start training striking? Do you remember which fight it was?
I was always like training striking, but man, I was a kid, like my first fight was 4. So like I didn't quite have that understanding of like hurting someone that way. Jiu-jitsu made a lot more sense to me because you take them down, you control them, you make them submit. But like kicking someone and punching someone, it just didn't quite translate in my head. And then I had my first amateur loss, and that's when I really like committed to the striking properly. I mean, it's one of those things, right? You don't know until you know. Just like after my last loss, it's like I thought I was striking enough. I thought I was a decent striker. And then in my amateur fight, that dude came out and had sick boxing and was a freak and
Yeah.
put it on me, beat me up a bit. And then I went away from that and was like, oh, okay, maybe I need to like get a lot better at that. So then dedicated my time to striking and using my physical attributes like my range and my kicks and my dexterity. And then came back in my last amateur fight, much more well-rounded. And then I would say probably my second pro fight is when I was like, all right, you know what? I'm more of a striker. This is where I have more advantages. I've got to not mix it up so much unnecessarily because I was going out there and shooting and putting people on the fence and like when I probably didn't need to. It's like, no, why not just save that for the fights where I need to? Why not save that for the Borshevs, for the people who have a real threat like that on the feet where it's like, oh, well, I'm going to mix it up properly in this fight.
Yeah, no, definitely. I did notice that, like, especially in the McConnell fight, you did shoot a lot, but you didn't like. I guess he did have really good boxing, so that is fair. But like,
Yeah, I was
normal.
bro. I was still a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, exactly. Like, because I think the next fight after that was the Mitch Bayless one, right? And that's when you got the
Yep.
spinning back kick to the
Yeah.
stomach.
So I went
Yeah,
away and I said to myself, like, if you want to be in the UFC, you want to make a career of this, you got to make sure that you're firing on all cylinders. And that fight taught me that I wasn't. My hands and my whole striking game wasn't where it needed to be. So I went away and really, really like dove into it.
yeah, definitely. Like, is most of the big growth in your striking that from Elliot Compton?
Elliot and Stevo for sure have been the biggest
Yeah,
growth. But initially, Vinny Perry from Puma, I trained with him for a couple of years on
yeah.
the Gold Coast. That was where I went from like, real amateur striking to pretty good striking. And then since being with Stevo and Elliot, my game has tightened up a great deal. Like I've always had that creative and that flow. Like I've always been able to spin and be fast and be snappy and use my eyes. But now since I've been with Stevo, like I'm knocking people out with one shot on any limb, any part of my body. Whereas before working with them, I considered myself a bit more of a volume striker. I didn't really believe in the power I had. Well, it's not that I didn't believe in it. I guess I just didn't know about it. I was just kind of, oh, I'm not one of those guys. I'm a bit of a Max Holloway. I'm touching people, move, 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 move. But now I'm like, nah, man. I can land one shot and put people to sleep. So like, my whole game's just expanding, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Is it like a sort of like Taekwondo style that you've developed, like with the spinning kicks and stuff like that? Like, is that where you
Um,
learn that?
I've never done any traditional striking. I
Yeah,
would say, man, a lot of it, like again, Stevo, he comes from a lot of traditional background.
yeah,
And he's an encyclopedia for martial arts, man. Like I say like an idea and he'll just transform it and make it work for me. Or he'll have an idea and just be like, hey, let's do this. And I just trust in him, and yeah, I would say it probably does. Like I am probably replicating a bit of a traditional martial arts in a sense, but I haven't gone and learned it from traditional martial arts. I've never stood
yeah,
foot in like a dojo or anything.
yeah. Of course. And with your style, there is a lot of comparisons between you and Corey Sandhagen out there. I even seen it after your fight. Someone was like, "Damn, he looks like a big Corey Sandhagen." I know you're a big Corey Sandhagen fan, so I bet you probably love those comparisons, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've me and Corey have spoken a few times, which is pretty cool. Like pretty cool moment in my life. Yeah, we definitely get compared a lot. I watch a lot of his footage. I subscribe to all of his channels and learn. I think he's a really intelligent guy, and he translates a lot of the ideas that I'm already working on and doing, and he puts words to them, so it just makes a little bit more sense in my mind. Um, but yeah, man, like his style of creativity and his style of violence, I think we are very similar. He's always out there to hurt people as well. So yeah, he's a good role model for me.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously not going too much into convos, but like what have you guys like actually spoke about and who like initiated them?
I sent him a message just before my contenders fight because I was actually studying one of his instructionals, and I had a question for him. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, we ended up speaking about it, and then we spoke again after that when I got signed, and Just real brief. I can't actually even really
Yeah.
remember what we said. Just real brief stuff. But it was a cool moment for me. I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of which, like, do you have a prediction for his fight against Umar Nurmagomedov?
Oh man, I don't know because like I hear him say these things about like, oh well, I want to be the best mixed martial artist before I'm the champion, and I can agree with what he's saying, but I also think to a degree it's like me, bro. People like talk about me like, can he grapple? Does he have any grappling? It's like I love that that's a question. I love that people don't know because that's up my sleeve now. It's like if you think I'm in the UFC and I can't grapple, well, you're probably a bit stupid. But I also love that because then people take fights against me. They're like, oh, well, I'll just put him on his back. I'll just take him down. So, well, we saw what happened to the last guy that just put me on my back. 10 seconds in, he's bleeding everywhere. Like I'm dangerous off my back, and I've got really good anti-wrestling and I've got good offensive wrestling too. But Corey seems to want to grapple the grapplers and strike the strikers to prove a point to himself, which I can respect. But I think it's silly because, man, now he's fighting a guy who is supposedly super legit in the grappling department. So if you're going to give a guy an easiest path to victory, that would be to shoot on a guy who's a top heavy wrestler, which I feel like he's going to do, which I don't like.
Yeah.
But if he goes out there and he fights him like he fought Dillashaw, I think he's going to piece him up. I think he's going to just dart him up, just touch him, move, touch, move. He'll find a kill shot for sure. He'll put him away with a knee or something.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see that, to be honest. Nothing against Umar Nurmagomedov, but like I do feel like it's a bit of an undeserved opportunity for him in the fight to get Corey. Like, he hasn't
But
beat.
Corey seems to want that fight because he wants to prove that he's a really good wrestler. It's like, man, if you lose to him and what's he ranked, number 2 or 3, and Umar's like 15, like you'd hope the UFC would look after him and keep him in the top 5, but potentially not, right? Potentially he falls all the way down to number 15, and it's like, man, he's worked so hard to be where he is.
Yeah, it'd be so shitty, especially when you look at it like he could have been like in title contention. Like he could have been next up after Marab for the title. I mean, he still can, I guess, but like it's still like a big gamble.
Him and Sean is going to be an awesome fight, man. I really hope that happens. They're probably my 2 favorite fighters right now, so that would be very sick to watch.
Yeah, no, they're both like really fun to watch. Like, they've got some really cool striking to them. Like, just very unorthodox, both of them. Like Sean's like very Conor McGregor-esque, and I think that's what he goes for. Like he does want to fight like sort of similar to Conor, but he's obviously got some different things to him. But he's
I'd say his game is the best in the world.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think O'Malley is the best striker in the UFC right now. Obviously,
Sure.
Yeah, I reckon one day you'll prove that you're up there as well. But at this time, I think.
Yeah,
I think
for sure, bro. He is absolutely the best, man. I watch a lot of his stuff for inspiration. The way he moves and the way he works his feints. That's something I'm trying to employ into my game a little bit. Yeah, man, he's sick. He's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I just also want to say, like, I did love the way you're fighting Long this fight. Obviously, there was a bit of a change. It wasn't just like trying to run through him in the pocket, but I was loving the kicks from far away, like the body kicks. It was just using your length. It was just fucking beautiful to see, man. Like, you really were piecing him up badly.
Yeah, man. That's how like I said in the interviews, I can't remember where I said it. Maybe it was fight week. That's how I am in the gym all the time, bro, because I'm surrounded by killers, I'm not going to stand in the pocket with Elliot. No way. Like, I have to stay long and use my advantages. But the thing is, I was fighting to entertain the crowd. I was fighting to entertain the people. And then I quickly learned that, the fans are pretty fickle. So it's like, nah, let's not do that anymore. Let's just go out and be a sniper. Like, I am much better at range. I'm a very good fighter from range, and I'm a sniper from range. I was just fighting the pocket because it's fun and people love to watch it. I love to watch it. I love to see people brawl and get after it. And that's what excites me. I like being in there and feeling those feelings run down my spine of like, this is dangerous and I love it. But now at this level, it's like when you lose, it's no good for your bank. When you lose, it's no good for your, I guess, reputation in the sport. And it's also no good for your brain. Like, you're getting caught by someone like Motor, man. He hits hard. So it's like, you can't be doing that for free, you know. So it was a good lesson, man. I learned so much from that loss. I think now after that, I really am going to bounce back and become, you know, I'm going to go on a world title run for sure after this.
Yeah, definitely. Like looking at it, you know, when you did the one time you did get caught in that fight, and obviously, you, like you said, you weren't that badly rocked, but it was when you were in the pocket a little bit, when you were,
Yeah,
you know, yeah. So the one time you got in the pocket that fight, that's where you get hurt. But then when you fought Long, you were
um,
just fucking him.
it was because I threw that wheel kick, man. I gave him a haircut, like I
Yeah,
just touched him, but I expected
yeah,
it to land, so I fell in slightly, and then as I fell in, he's pressing me back. So I'm on the back pedal trying to move and trying to counter, and then he went, instead of going 1-2, 1-2, he went 1-2-1, caught me on the chin and just snapped my head back. But yeah,
yeah,
throughout my life, promise, I absolutely wasn't rocked. It was well timed shot, caught me while I was stepping back, and yeah, anyone can go back and watch that, replay it. Look at my eyes the whole time. I laser straight back in on him, and it was just my legs weren't there. Like I was still stepping. It's not like I fell back on my head and was looking up into the sky. I was still trying to get my foot back. I didn't get back in time.
yeah. No, definitely. And you also mentioned like, yeah, you're not trying to go out there to like just entertain the fans now, but I was plenty entertained. That was an entertaining performance, man. Just
Yeah, of course. Just it's a
yeah,
different level of entertainment, right? Like I was
yeah,
really looking for you know, like the in the pocket bloodbaths, putting someone like what I did
yeah,
to Bogdan, right? I caught him face to
yeah.
face, put him to sleep, and everyone loved it. And I was like, okay, this is what I got to do. People love this, but when you lose, people hate it. So it's like, no, I just got to find that happy medium. And I've really worked on it. I've found the happy medium.
Yeah, well, I think if you fight like guys long, I think you could probably just piece up most guys on the feet. Like obviously in the pocket, you could probably win, but I feel like just just like you fighting long, you could be like a Wonder Boy esque like type fighter in that
Yep.
division. Yeah, because like you use your length really well. Like watching that fight, I was like, damn man, like that's like obviously people are gonna say, well, it's Victor Martinez, but like Victor Martinez, he's still a
8
UFC
knockouts,
level.
bro.
Yeah,
He's knocked 8 people out. Same as Motor, like 16
yeah.
knockouts between them in my last 2 fights. It's like 16 other men went to sleep. Both of them didn't put me to sleep. So it's like, fuck, you can't really say like, I don't know. I reckon if anything, that shows how tough I am. I won that fight 30 seconds later. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite of what everyone's saying. But
I
the
agree.
people who are saying, again, the people who are saying that, bro, like who are they? They're probably like a 12-year-old kid, like hiding in
Yeah,
their bed. You know, it's not too bad of a stress for me.
yeah, exactly. I did like the when you were on your back though. I did like the elbows. Like that shit was vicious. Like the cut you had on him was fucking so fucking gnarly. So like after the
Very
fight,
deep.
they showed it, and it was just fucking pissing out of his like eyebrow. Like it's
Yeah, man.
fucking brutal.
Top of the hairline right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it
Yeah,
was
man.
just there was so much blood.
Yeah, like we game planned that. Like I was talking to my coach Stevo, I think 2 days before the fight, and I said, yeah, if he manages to get me on my back, I'll definitely butcher him from the bottom before I look to stand up. And consciously in my mind, like when I was on my back, I realized, okay, I'm pretty sure I've been in here for more than 3 minutes. Like just guessing how long the fight was going. I was like, well, I'll stay on my back and I'll look to damage because if it was like a minute in, well, I'm going to get back up because I don't want to lose the round. Like I need to get back up and take over again. But because I knew that I was over halfway, I was like, if he stays on top of me here and I'm butchering him from the bottom and he's hitting me back from the top and it's kind of even, I've definitely still won the round.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, those elbows, man. That was like prime Tony esque, like elbows off your back there. Like that was fucking some brutal shit.
Yeah, man, I practice that a lot. Like obviously I don't hit people with it in the gym, but I
Yeah,
when I get put there, I will practice that a lot. I just think my elbow range is almost most people's punching range off their back. So like it's a hard range to deal with. People find it really hard to deal with my long arms there.
yeah, definitely. I can see you getting like eventually when you do fight like a wrestler, I can see you getting like a quick DAS on someone just because of how long your arms are. Like I feel like a DAS would be so easy for you to get.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite submissions for sure.
Yeah, I can just sense it. I can just see like you fighting like maybe like Jordan Levitt or some shit, and he goes to shoot in on you, and then I can just see you getting him in a DAS or something like you sub the grappler or something like that. I
Yeah.
just with that length, I feel like it would be a fucking nightmare for a lot of these guys to deal with.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I'm very good at doing that. Again, I don't play into other people's advantages. So like, I'm not gonna go out and look to dast someone, but if it's there, I'm on it for sure. And like, that's what we were just talking about, it being in the pocket, right? It's like, I have a really nice in the pocket game as well. Don't get me wrong. We work a lot on my game there because obviously that's where people are going to want to put me. But like you said, bro, if I can just stay at that range, good luck even getting anywhere near me. So yeah, that's playing into that advantage. I've got to just make sure I'm not stepping into the pocket, and I should be able to put a lot of people away.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there's a lot of like lightweight fights coming up. Obviously, I did hear in your post-fight interview, they did ask you about Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. I know you said you want Dustin to win because it would be a great story, but do you think he's going to beat Islam?
I don't think he will, but I hope he does. Man, he's awesome. He is a real pioneer of the sport. You know, he's been through everything, bro. At one point, he was the most hated guy in the whole game. Now everyone loves him, right? Like, he is a real inspiration. He's cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. Beat McGregor twice as well. Like, was an interim champion. Like, he's done everything that there's to do in the sport except for win that big one. Like, it would be just a feel-good moment after all his long career, giving banger fight after banger fight. Because if you go through his fight library as well, like, he's never been in a boring fight. Like, off the top of my head, I don't think I've ever seen a boring Dustin Poirier fight. So it would be just a awesome moment.
Yeah. I really hope he does it.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, I do think Islam's probably going to sub him early. Is that how you have the fight going?
I don't reckon early. I reckon he'll survive for a bit. I reckon 4th round.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, hopefully he gives a good showing for himself at least. Like, it'd just be cool to, like, as long as he gets like a close call or something like that. Like, if he rocks Islam, that'd be sick.
That would be sick. Yeah, for sure.
And then obviously after Dustin, it's probably going to be Arman Sarukian. So if it is Arman Sarukian versus Islam, how do you have that fight going?
I've got Arman. Man, he's a beast. He's a savage. I think he wins that. Yeah, I think their first fight was very close. I think he's done what I've done. I think he bounced back really well and learned all the lessons from it. I think now he's ready to take the championship.
Yeah, and definitely, and like Arman, a lot of people don't know, Arman was knocked out, like brutally out cold on the regional scene as well. And now look at him, he's bounced back.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, obviously, Islam got slept in one of his UFC fights as well.
Yeah. Like Arman got brutally like KO'd by, I think he might have been a German guy maybe or something like that. But he actually eventually, like 6 fights later, he actually got that one back and he beat the guy in the first round. But yeah, he got slept first round KO as well.
Yeah, man, it's fighting, bro. Like, for anyone who thinks it's not going to happen, it's absolutely crazy. Like, 2 dudes step in there, 1 steps out. It's like, I always get asked that question. Like, obviously before Motor, I was undefeated. Everyone always would ask me, like, oh, how do you feel about the undefeated being gone? It's like, man, that is not... You play it up when you have it because it's marketable, and gets you sponsors and gets you opportunity. But, like, you can't actually genuinely care about it because if you do, you're going to have a real rough time with your career.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of examples out there. Like, Ronda Rousey, as soon as she lost that, she went on the losing streak. Darren Till, like, so many fighters, like, they lose like the aura around them and their mentality once they lose. So
that's why an amateur career is so important, bro. Because again, I got to 7-0 as an amateur as well, and then I had my first loss. So like, I learned all that as an amateur. I learned like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I bounced back and I won, and then I was like, all right, I'm ready to be a professional. But I had to learn that then, or else maybe it would have been different. Maybe I did lose to Motor, and then I'm destroyed, and I'm like, oh, well, like, how do I live with myself, and carry on like all those people you just named.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like you take losses really well. Like, you do improve. Like, obviously, after your amateur loss, you went on and you improved the striking. Now you're a striker, and now since the modifier, you're fighting longer now. Like, using your range and everything well. Like, it does seem like you really do take these losses. And I know it's cliche to say, but a lot of people say it's not a loss, it's a lesson. But like, it does seem like you do take them as lessons.
Yeah, man. Well, this is my whole life. Like, I've dedicated every single moment to this. Like, it's not just a loss for me. It's like a piece of myself. I lose a piece of myself when that happens, because like, I know obviously I just said the undefeated thing doesn't matter, and it doesn't. But when you lose, you lose stock, you lose position, you lose power. You can get fired. So it's like, in that sense, it's everything to me. It's like, man, I can't let that happen again. I have to keep winning. I have to keep making money. I have to keep making moves in my career. You know, I want to leave a legacy behind. I don't want to be a guy who just kind of did it. I want to, I want to be able to be very proud of myself and look back at my career and be like, yeah, I had a great career. You know, obviously, I want to be the best in the world. I want the title. But if that doesn't happen, I at least want to have a really, really, really good career. Like, I won't be satisfied with just getting here. It's not good enough. That's almost worse. I'd almost rather have just not done it to begin with than to kind of get there and then just be like, all right, that's done. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm all in on this. So yeah, when I have a loss, I take it to heart. I go back and I critique myself and I figure out what I did wrong. I dive deep on it. I don't hide from the emotion. I don't like make excuses. You know, I take full responsibility for my losses. It's no one else's fault. I lost that fight to Motor because of the way I went into the fight. You know, I trained hard as hell for that fight. Don't get me wrong. I gave him all the respect in the gym. But on fight night, you were 100% right. I thought for sure he didn't want to be in there. And I learned a lesson. I got caught. And I'll never, ever let that happen again.
Yeah, of course, man. Are you a bit salty you didn't get a 50K bonus, by the way? Like, I thought
Yeah,
that was
bro. I thought for sure I was going to get that. As if I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. That was such an entertaining fight. There was blood. There was excitement. We both got hurt. Like, it was, surely. But anyway, the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck do you have to do? I think Angela Hill got one for a
Yeah.
submission.
Yeah, man. I thought the same thing. But with my style, like, I know I'm going to get a fair few of those in my time. So it's all right. It's coming.
Had you planned, like, pre-fight, were you like maybe training with guys with a similar body to like Victor Martinez, and you knew you could get that knee to the body?
Yeah, we have a wide variety in our gym, man. We have a lot of people with different skill sets and different builds. So obviously, I try my best to spar with people who look like him and like body wise. But in saying that, I'd say probably Blair was my main training partner for this camp, and he's a middleweight, light heavyweight, as tall as me. So like, not really. I honestly, I don't knee to the body very often because it's a kind of a dangerous range for me, man. I can knee myself in the head. Like, I have really good hip flexibility. Like, I can just throw my knees pretty much anywhere. So I was actually trying to knee him in the head. But if you watch the footage, when I was backing up, his blood was in my eye, and I'm trying to get his blood out of my eye, and then he kind of just rushed me with this overhand. So I just threw it, and it just happened to skim off the liver. So I was looking to land on his chin. We did our research going into this fight, and from what we found, he was looking to he was actually going to try and wrestle me, from what I saw in some footage. So a lot of his training looked like it was him trying to shoot on people. So when I backed up to the fence there, I was like, all right, if he shoots, I'm going to run him onto the spear for sure. But he didn't. He tried to punch and fall in, so it ends up working out quite well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I was wondering. I thought he was going to shoot, but yeah, I feel like maybe your range as well made it a bit hard. Because if he did shoot, it was probably going to fall on his face, to be honest. Because yeah,
I think that's something people forget about. Like, I'm hard to find to replicate. It's pretty easy to find someone who's 5'8" and has boxing and wrestling. I can do that. To find a 6'3" lightweight who moves the way I do, and a southpaw as well. I saw in a lot of his training footage, he had Diego Ferreira replicating me, who's like 5'8" orthodox grappler. So the complete opposite. And it's like, yeah, you have to go to great lengths to try and find someone like me. And I think once you get in there with me and I am controlling the range and I'm constantly touching you, it's hard to find that. Like I said, you want to box your way in and move your head, and that's quite scary against a guy who's trying to snipe your head off.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I did see that as well. That he was like Diego Ferreira was his main training partner. I thought that was a bit strange. Like, you two couldn't be any more different if you tried.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said, like, who else can? Maybe he goes and asks Jalen Turner, or maybe he flies Dan Hooker out. But I don't think either of those two are going to do that. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Jalen Turner, that's a fight I do want to see down the line. The two lanky lightweights. I feel like that'd be a good fight down the line. Obviously, he's coming off
I'd love that.
2 losses, I think. or one
Uh,
actually.
nah,
He
he beat
beat
Bobby.
Bobby Green.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then lost to Moicano, yeah.
yeah, man. I think that would be an awesome fight. Obviously, for me, I just want a little bit more experience for that one because he's been in there
Of
for a while
course.
now. But I
Yeah.
think I can definitely beat him for sure. I think I'm a longer version of Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker beat him. So like, it's definitely
Yeah.
doable.
I also got to ask, like, is your reach 73 inches or 76? Because like in your past fights, it was 76, but since you've been in the UFC, they have changed it. So like, what is your actual
Yeah,
reach?
I don't know what's going on with that either because me and Dom have he won't agree with this, but we have the same length arms, and his is like like 76 or 77, but the UFC have me as 73, and I'm like I definitely have longer legs and arms. Like I'm definitely built. I'm a legs
Yeah.
guy, but I still have long arms. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering because yeah, it's such a big change, like from 73 to 76 to 73. Like that's 3 inches. Like that is a big change in reach. I can't
Mm.
imagine like your reach would be that wrong, but yeah, UFC
Yeah,
is
I don't
weird
know
with
what
it.
happened there, bro. I don't think that's correct though.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the heights and like reaches for some guys, like I don't know if you've seen, but like Jairzinho Rosenstruck, he's apparently 6'4", but like when he faced off with like Ngannou, Gan, all them guys, he's like 3 inches shorter than all of them. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know who's doing the measurements. Like, did the UFC actually measure your arms?
yeah. They measured me for Contender Series. They did all the measurements there.
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
Uh, and what they said it was 73 or what?
They just wrote it down. I like whatever they wrote down is what's on the stats now. But
Okay, yeah.
I reckon they messed that up with the arms for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I was obviously after your Dana White Contender Series, you talked about how like you've been like picked on like yeah, as a kid. Like I want to get like a backstory to that. Like was that before you trained? Is that what got you into training and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. Like I was a pretty nerdy sort of quiet, soft kid growing up. Um, and just a classic fighter story, bro. I just got given shit for it. And yeah, I decided, well, I need to learn to fight. You know, I'm getting round up after school by a bunch of guys in the grade higher than me and pushing me around. It's like, fuck, I can't defend myself if I tried here because there's 10 people. So I was like, all right, let's go get good at fighting. And now those same guys, I see them in the comments giving me all the congrats and everything. So it's pretty funny. It's come full circle because, yeah, I don't know what's going on with them, but I know they're not in the UFC. So
Yeah, you know,
I still,
did you ever get like your comeuppance? Like, did you ever like fuck them up or anything like that? Like physically?
nah, man, as soon as I learned to fight, I didn't need to fight, you know, like
Yeah,
once
yeah,
you step into a gym and you get humbled a few times and then you learn how
I
to
agree.
humble other people, you realize like what you can do to someone. It's like, oh man, like I can fight you here now and get expelled, or I can wait 2 hours and go to the gym and fight 20 people and go home feeling awesome, you know?
Yeah,
Plus, a lot of that stuff is, bro, a lot of it's similar to like the salty comments. It's like, man, I get it. Like, you hate your life probably. Like, you know, the reason you are picking on people or you're commenting things to people is because you're probably like got a shit life and you're obese and you work a shit job and you're a nerd. Like, you've got nothing going on. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, man, if that makes you feel better, it's like, well, you guys are still in my comments. You guys are still commenting about me while I'm on TV. So it's like, who's winning? Who's the real winner?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you see like the gamblers as well, like who get shit about like, you know, they didn't get their
They're the
fucking betting
worst, bro.
slip. Yeah.
They're the
It's like
worst of them all.
yeah, it's like fuck, you go train your ass off, go get a bunch of fights on your belt, and you go on the UFC and bet on yourself. I mean, I don't think you can do that anymore, but still like it's like fucking hell, man. Like they're
Yeah,
fighters, like
people comment like, oh, man, like, you know, I lost money last time. Like, please don't make me lose money again this time. It's like, yeah, bro, I lost money too, man. I get paid to win and to show up. Like, you think I did that on purpose? I lost money too, bro. Like, I get it. I'm not gonna fucking do it on purpose. It's a fight. Like, I just people are crazy, man. People don't understand. It's insane.
yeah, there's some fucking I don't know, like You wouldn't see anyone, like, none of these guys would come up to you in person and say, hey, fuck you, you know, I lost my money because of you, you know, like, you're not going to see that from any of these guys in person. So it's like, I don't know why they act so tough in the
I walked
comments.
around Vegas after the motor loss for a few days, bro, and not one person said anything negative. So it just shows it's like they'll see you in real life and they'll put their tail between their legs for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, I don't know. There's some real fucking losers out there, especially the gamblers, man. I see some of them, like they put up like, yeah, this guy's so bad at this, and like, yeah, like he's a bum. Like I hate when they call professional athletes bums. It's like,
Mm.
bro, you're a fucking guy sitting in your room, fucking writing notes about
Yeah.
fucking fighters who, when they don't know you exist, you can't call
Yeah,
these
but they're
guys.
good because they're the reason we get paid, bro. Those are the guys who
Yeah,
are, you know what I mean? Like they're our bank accounts, so we need them.
yeah,
You know, it's the good with the bad. Like, yeah, they're gonna comment their shit opinions, but I mean, to be honest, bro, there's been a bit of a shift I've noticed. Like those people putting up stuff about other fighters, I've seen other fighters coming to their rescue, and even people in the comments saying, "You're just some fat nerd behind a computer. Like, what are you talking about?"
yeah,
Like, there seems to be a bit of a shift. You know, I think people talk shit to fighters because it's like gives them some sort of purpose. It's like, oh yeah, man, I messaged a UFC fighter and I told him to fuck off, and he couldn't do anything about it. And they walk around, you know, with their chest out for a couple of days. It makes them feel good, and it's like you don't see anyone commenting to a soccer player saying, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up, bro," because it's not
yeah.
cool. Like, well, you're gonna fuck up a soccer player. Well, maybe, probably, but like to say UFC fighter, it's like, oh man, I'm awesome. I fucking got to say that to a UFC fighter. It's, you know, the power of the internet.
Yeah, definitely. I even seen a guy who was like bragging that he commented like in your comments like straight after the modified. He's like, "Fucking, you're a fucking loser, bro. Like, why fucking do that?"
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. There's some fucking weirdos out there, man. Like, I can see like maybe saying someone's not UFC level. Like, there is some guys in the UFC that aren't UFC level, but to like
Yeah,
call guys fucking bums and stuff like that. It's like I don't know. It's not my forte.
yeah, no, I agree, bro, completely.
Yeah. But yeah, with the training and everything like that, you obviously you didn't train at Compton's straight away, right? Because you used to live in Toowoomba?
Yeah,
Or am I
that's
getting?
where I grew
Yeah,
up.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay. I'm glad I got that right. Yeah, Toowoomba. So was it like a bit of a rough town?
It's a smaller town. There's been some really good boxers and Thai fighters come out of there. But in terms of MMA, it's just there's not enough. There's not enough training. You know, it's a much smaller
Yeah.
town, bit of a country town, working town. You know, so I had to make the move because obviously there's not enough training there, and we've got a world class facility at Team Compton with some of the best coaches and best athletes in the world. It's an hour away. It's like, oh, I've got to go there.
Yeah, and I noticed you got a. How long have you had the Compton tattoo on your neck, or behind your neck? How long you had that
Uh,
for?
I got that after the motor fight.
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, definitely not going to any other gyms then. You're definitely Compton for life.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like, it's not even really a gym thing. It's more respect to my coaches. Like, they
Yeah,
have done a lot for me, and they've really built me into the young man I am today. You know, like I just appreciate everything they've done for me, regardless of any sort of politics in certain terms of gym. Like, if Compton's shut down tomorrow for whatever reason, I'd have to train somewhere, right? So like, it's
yeah,
not a badge of like, oh, this is like, it's just a loyalty thing to them. It's more representing their name. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I feel like your tattoos are very meaningful though. Obviously, you've got the Compton one and you've got the big train as well.
Yeah,
Do you have any other tattoos?
yeah. I've got my family crest down my neck. I got that the same day as the Compton one. It's just some words just down the side of my neck here.
Yeah,
And I've got my two half sleeves, which actually haven't got. Well, one of them has a bit of meaning to me, but the other one's just because it looks cool. And then I've got a little cross on my hip. I got when I was like 13. Me and my mate did it with just a uh, tattoo ink and a tattoo needle, and just fucking jammed it in with a hammer. So yeah, it's old school. I was just a kid, but it's cool, man.
yeah. No, so you said like it's got a little bit of meaning. What is the little bit of meaning that you've got in that tattoo?
On my sleeve.
Yeah, your sleeve.
So when I was same time period as when I got the one on my hip. Me and my cousin, we ended up buying a tattoo gun, and I got a little home job on my arm for one of my mates, a family friend of mine who actually passed away. So I got that put in my arm, but obviously we didn't do it properly, so it all fell out and like got sun faded. So then I went and got a full sleeve to cover it, but it was just a little Spartan head with his date of his death day. So I went and got a full Spartan piece done in sort of, I guess, memory of him.
Yeah, no, that is really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for your loss. I mean,
No.
it would have been a while ago, right? But yeah, sorry anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any like, if say, hypothetically you win like the UFC belt, would you get like the championship, like, how Alex Bahia did?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I would do that for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like that'd be cool. Like, obviously nobody can take that away from you. If you ever do win the belt, like, you get that tatted. That's fucking yours.
Yeah,
You won
bro.
that.
100%. Yeah, I agree. that is a pretty gangster move. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like any favorite fighters in the UFC? Obviously, you said Sean O'Malley and Corey Sandhagen, but do you have any other like favorite fighters to watch in the UFC?
I really like Charles Oliveira. I actually saw him on the weekend, which is pretty cool. He's the first person I saw when I walked in the Apex. Yeah, man, I think he's awesome. Just the way his career has worked out. Who else? I like Chito Vera. Obviously, his last performance wasn't great, but I think he's just a cool dude as well. Like, he just puts his head down and works hard and fucks people up. So I like the bantamweights for whatever reason. I think they are the most skillful. Like, pound for pound, I think they're the best sort of division. Obviously, lightweight's the toughest division and like the most dangerous division, but bantamweights, man, they're cool. They're really good fighters.
Maybe it's time to actually become a weight bully. Try and get yourself down to bantamweight. Cut off a leg.
Man, I actually reckon it would absolutely fuck me up, but I reckon I could do it.
Yeah, fuck no.
It would mess me up, but I'm pretty sure I could make that weight.
Fucking
I'm certain I can make featherweight. I'm dead certain I can make featherweight.
Yeah.
So I reckon I could probably get on death's door to make bantam if I had to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to clickbait that. Yeah, I'm just putting it out there so someone doesn't clip this video and be like, "Oh, Tom Nolan said he's moving to bantamweight."
Yeah, let's not do that, because like you've seen, like, I mean, you'd look like TJ when he cut down to flyweight. You'd fucking
it'd be no good. It would change me. Like, it would be forever damage.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, was like TJ Dillashaw like another favorite fighter, like when he was, fighting?
Yeah, but the whole steroid thing kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was a savage, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like the thought process for like when it comes to like GOAT talks and stuff like that? If you were on like roids or anything like that, you're like excluded from like the GOAT talks?
Yeah, I think so for sure. You can't be.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? I think it comes down to the era you're in, because if you're from the era where everyone was on it, it's kind of hard to, like, when it wasn't illegal, I'm kind of like, well, it makes sense, I guess. But if you're from the USADA era forward, then yeah, you're automatically. And again, it depends on what you pop for. If you're like, if it's a tainted supplement, no, I don't think that's, but if it's proper like EPO and like testosterone and actual things that are like, man, that's like taking a gun in there. Like, you're taking in a weapon pretty much. But if you pop and it's like accidental, then that doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Khalil Roundtree, I don't know if you've seen, but he had to pull out of the fight against Jamal Hill because he took a tainted supplement, which is a pretty big shame there. But at least I think he was the one, he didn't like test positive or anything. He literally went and told the UFC like straight away, or USADA, or not USADA actually, whoever the new testers are.
Yeah. Right, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he said that as soon as he found out it was tainted, like he went and immediately went and told the UFC, and that's wise.
That's respect.
Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't get any like bad punishment or anything there, because I don't think, if he did it, he wouldn't have done it on purpose if he went and immediately told them. So hopefully he doesn't get like a year suspension or something like that. Hopefully they can figure out a good compromise there.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should be out, especially because he came forward and did the right thing.
Yeah, like I remember a few years ago, like Mirko Krokop, he took roids and he literally went and admitted it to the USADA testing, and then he literally tested negative. So he still got suspended, but he tested negative as well. Like that,
Yeah,
that must be
that's
fucked.
mental. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, like you say about like the whole era and stuff like that. Like I feel like the champions for like the Brock Lesnar era is like, okay, yeah, you're valid for being on roids because you
Yeah.
got that fucking roid mutant Brock Lesnar fucking running around. Like,
Yeah, 100%. And they weren't testing, and I don't think it was against the rules. So it's like, yeah, fair enough. At that time, then it's, well, probably not fair enough, but I mean, it's better than nowadays anyway.
yeah, definitely. Do you have like a goat? Like, who is your goat?
I'd probably say Jones, except he's had the steroid stuff as well. So, but he kind of comes from that era. But then he tested in the new era, so it's like
Yeah,
it's a little bit fishy. I think Anderson Silva, he's one of my original favorites. Like he's fucking awesome. I don't think he's a goat in terms of all round skill, but I think what he managed to do is phenomenal. The way he beat those guys is still more impressive than most guys these days.
yeah, definitely. Did you see that Anderson's boxing Chael Sonnen in like 3 weeks?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I originally I thought it was going to be fucking Terry Crews because like there's a bunch of
Yeah, I
Terry
saw that
Crews.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was random. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Like, why was Terry Crews putting out like them call outs? And I don't understand what that was even about. Like, why they were even doing that. That's a weird marketing strategy.
Funny, but I think it would be funny to watch.
Yeah, like a 55-year-old actor versus Anderson Silva. Like, holy shit, he would die.
Yeah, it'd be good to watch.
Yeah, I feel like Chael's probably going to get badly fucked up in there. Like, I love Uncle Chael, but like,
Mm,
he is
I
not
agree.
a boxer. Not a
Yeah,
boxer by any
he already
means.
lost to that guy twice. He's going to lose again.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, man. Like, I appreciate it. Sorry if I took a bit too much of your time here, but
No, no. All right. Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it too.
now it's good to talk. So, like you said before, you do have a fight offered for 305, I believe it is, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we obviously can't say who it is, but with pushing around the bush a little bit, how do you think that fight will go? And like, has it been accepted on his end?
I'm pretty sure it's been accepted, and I
Yeah.
think, you know what? I'm not going to make a prediction because for the last one, I didn't make a prediction, and I went there and did really well. I don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on myself. I know I beat this guy for sure. I'm 99.9% sure I'll finish him, but I don't know how it'll happen. I don't know what round. I just know it will happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no need to put like extra pressure on yourself because, yeah, like you said, like there's no point to do that. You're gonna win, but you don't have to like say a specific way or have to go in there and
Yeah,
go too aggressive or fight.
yeah. I just want to play. Just let it all happen.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I look forward to it. Hopefully, I'll be at 305 as well because it is in my
Yep.
city. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I can catch you, catch a body. But yeah,
That'd be
before
sick.
you go, do you want to shout out like any sponsors or any teammates or anything like that? Just shout anyone out.
Nah, it's all right. I'll save it for another video, bro. It's all right.
All right, yeah. I did see, you're looking for some new sponsors. So, if anyone's out there, sponsor this man, the big
Yes,
train.
sir. Let's do it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, man. We'll talk
Bro.
again sometime. And yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. You have a good rest of your day.
You too, bro. Thank you very much.
Bye. Catch up.